Hey mums, Christian Bates, Colic.com here. So this video is on gas or wind in your baby and where does it come from? So I just did a video before this about food getting into your breast milk, which has reminded me to do this video again. So your baby could take air in at feeding. So it has like a paw latch, so it could be swallowing air. Then you get air in here, then they have wind pain, so colic. Or there could be wind production, so they could have excessive wind being produced. So they might be not breaking the milk down correctly because of maybe excessive bad bacteria imbalance with good bacteria, which is why we use the probiotics to help. So for example, antibiotics kill off the good bacteria. So we want to put some good stuff back in. So they could be swallowing air. They could be producing too much gas with the breakdown of the formula or your breast milk, or maybe some food that you're eating that is creating more wind, so they're getting more windy from that. So they're two main reasons. I'm going to add in a third, which I've never read anywhere, which the wind could be trapped. So they could have swallowed it, they could have produced it, but it's trapped because it's not traveling through nicely to come out the other end. So the wind is better out than in. So some babies, after a bit of treatment, the parents come and go, oh my goodness, it's so windy. It's actually that the wind's coming out. So colic is trapped wind. Trapped wind is agony. Like, adults know that. It is so painful. So think about that in your baby. The trapped wind is painful. So colic. They could be swallowing wind, they could be producing wind, but if it's coming out, that's okay. It's coming out. So lots of babies are windy. They're not screaming in pain, they're just windy. I think that's better so than the trap wind, obviously. But you know, thinking, oh my goodness, my baby's so windy, at least it's coming out and not painful. So from my point of view, you could have a little meerkat baby, a stiff baby like this with their neck fixed in one direction. That affects their latch. So they'll feed here, if you remember, if you watched all the other videos, they'll feed here nicely, but their neck won't come around here properly and they won't feed on the other side of you if you're breastfeeding, or you have to bottle feed them like this the whole time and they won't come around here because their neck's stiff according to how their delivery was. So that could be a reason for a dodgy air intake. They could be swallowing. So yes, there's tongue tie, palate type stuff, the latch and all here. But from my point of view, check the big picture. Is the big picture your baby can't turn its head this way to feed properly? So that's air intake here maybe. Sometimes they just sort of dribble out one side more and then you put on the other side and they take it in nicely. You can see those little things. So that's number one. The other thing is the production. Like, have you had antibiotics? Did you have a C-section? All of these things, there's videos on all of those. Has that changed the good, bad bacteria balance in your baby? And it's probiotics that we use to help that. Then we might look at the formula. Then we might look at what the mum's eating. All of those things to decrease the wind production. Then there's the wind coming out part. Now, I help that with the treatment, the gentle treatment that I've got. So a really nice example is like a froggy baby. The meerkat babies that are stiff, but there's the froggy babies as well. So those little babies that come like this, they're usually planned C-section babies, but they like to be up on your shoulder in a little frog. Now, you put them on their back, think about that wind coming through. They're all scrunched up. The wind doesn't come through nicely. So as you start to unwind these babies and give them more room for the wind to come through, then it comes through. So there's a positional thing, a physical positional thing. Is the tummy working properly? So does this make sense to you? Can you see this in your baby and see how these things might help? So if you've got any questions, as always, put them in the comments, email me, message me, and I can point you to other videos that I have done. There's hundreds of videos answering all these questions. I'll point you to the right video. Hopefully you'll get some help out of that. And it's on calmingcolic.com. Thanks.